The international break is done and dusted, and tomorrow it's back to Premier League action. I'm Stu Wakeford, he's Carly Osborne, he's Marcus Gale, and here's what's coming up on the warm-up. Trouble's coming, and a little monster is in town. How do we stop him? We'll figure it out. Sorry, I'll stop those awful puns. Royal Blood drummer and Brighton fan Ben Thatcher gives us a lowdown on our visitors.
I feel like the squad is strong, and we're aiming to not be in a relegation battle this season, yeah.
New feature alert, we asked Mad Squared, Roslev and Bidstrup who they'd sub, sell or start out of the Gaffers.
Oh! You can't, that is you can't say anything as
such a stupid question. we can only lose here, you know, we can't do anything.
Trust me, that feature with Mads is not to be missed. Bidstrup got bants from two Mads to two lads. Carly Osborne and Marcus Gale. It's been a couple of weeks. How you been, boys?
Been all right, you know, Stu. How about you?
I've been all right. Missed you both.
Yeah.
Very well. Enjoyed it. It's been nice, but I'm glad to be back.
2 weeks since our last match day. Should we have a little recap of the season so far?
Sounds good to me.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the real thing. The real thing. Here's Sergi Canos! Canos goal! Norgard through the crowd! MacArthur takes it on! Through the crowd he goes. Tony's there! On the mark for Brentford, as he so often has been.
3 games into the Premier League season. Is it everything you'd hoped it would be, Marcus?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think we've not exceeded ourselves, but I think we've given a good account of ourselves in those opening 3 matches.
Serious football head on here. Push the fan away, Carly. How would you assess our season so far?
Yeah, I think it's been really good, really positive start. I think the performances have been good. Defensively, we've done well. You know, we've obviously scored goals. I think as the season goes on, I think we need to create more chances because things will get tougher. Teams will get used to how we play. But for the start of a Premier League season for Brentford, I think it's fantastic.
What are we learning, Marcus? Because we've got to learn every week, haven't we?
Yeah, we're adapting to the different sort of tempo that the Premier League throws up at you, the movement as well, and with the games coming up, it's going to get even intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to be learning absolutely everything in every game, how people move, you know, if you're out of position or in position, what happens in those situations, and if we have to pay a price or not. So it's going to be a crazy season in that regard, but one that we're going to thrive in.
Well, last about, obviously we drew 1-1 away at Aston Villa. We've not spoken about that game specifically, so let's have a little look at it. Another great point against a very dangerous side, I'd say. Goals were brilliant on one hand, less so on the other with the goal we conceded. Let's go positives first. I think this goal's underrated from Ivan. First, the touch from Pontus. Where did that come from, by the way? Pontus Jansson, the deft little flick. He said Zlatan Ibrahimovic taught him it, yeah. But the second, that's not an easy finish, is it, Marcus?
It's not an easy finish, but with every good striker, they're going to have to anticipate everything in that 6-yard box or penalty area. Ivan shows that quality, you know, bit off balance, but he regains it, composure, and then finds that corner of the net to put us into the game. So, brilliant bit of play.
We love talking about the good stuff, but we also have to talk about the stuff when it doesn't quite go so well. Carly, let's look at the Villa goal that day, because obviously in the stands there's a lot of murmurings about what should have happened, what could have happened, what we should have done. But you've been there, you're a centre half. What did happen for that Villa goal?
Firstly, the finish was obviously unbelievable, but what led to that is a little bit of indecision. You know, Rico's gone to press Buendia at first, he's gone to press him, and then at the split second, last minute, he's come away because he's seen a runner coming over his shoulder, which has then thrown Ethan off and doesn't give Ethan the time to go and press the shot. For me personally, I think Ethan, he had a good position to start with, and I think as it goes into Buendia, I think Ethan can then go and close that space. Rico just needs to stay in his position where he is. Sometimes when you're defending, if you cross paths, it causes so much confusion and there's no time to recover, especially in and around the 18-yard box. But then after that, to be fair, the finish in the top corner is a good one.
It is Premier League finishing, is it? And the touch as well, is it that moment of brilliance and Premier League brilliance that forces a split-second decision, Marcus, which is where we're seeing the level of a Premier League, right?
It's the speed of thought, speed of movement, and then the execution of that move as well. So that's what we're facing. That's going to keep coming thick and fast this season, but that's how the players are going to improve.
Yeah.
I think the touch is what changes Rico's mind, because in the Champ, most players would have taken that back to safety and back across themselves, whereas when Dia opens up, and I think that's what changes his mind then, because he knows that now he's able to play the runner. He's not going to have his back to the runner, so I think that's why he then tries to go back to his space, but by that time it's too late.
Well, look, that game there's a lot of milestones as well. David Raya, 150 appearances. Saman, 50th appearance. Brian Mbeumo, 150 appearances. I want to start with Saman because we don't really talk about him. Last year, he was so honest when he was speaking to me at the back end, saying maybe he didn't start particularly well in a Brentford shirt. I don't know what you boys thought, but I thought that Villa game was his best performance we've seen.
Yeah, he has a lot of qualities that the team needs at key times. He's great off the ball. He'll go and hunt that ball down, but he's very good in possession as well. And I think he can be that creative spark that we need through some of the games.
Some of his touches, just deft little touches, and it was that intelligence. There was a few like Buendia style touches where he was just turning his man, getting out of tight spaces, wasn't there? I also want to talk about David Raya. This season, for me, he's been nothing but superb. And we saw again, Carly, an amazing save in that first half, didn't we? Just how good was this save and how important was it with the timing?
Yeah, the save was fantastic, and obviously it was extremely important. You know, the timing of it keeps Brentford in the game. It was a fantastic save, but he has been brilliant, and he was brilliant last season. I almost feel like he's gone up another level this year already, and I think if he stays in that form, we're going to need him to stay in that form because he's going to be massive for us, especially going into the season, later on into the season. So, yeah, I think he deserves all the credit he's getting.
We're going to talk a bit more about Brighton, but they've got a goalkeeper, Sanchez, who this week made his debut for Spain. He's obviously a great goalkeeper, but surely if David Raya continues this form, Marcus, he's got to be thinking he could be in with a shout for Spain. He's
got to be thinking that, you know. I would like to think that, you know, Brentford and Brighton are quite similar in sort of stature and quality, and David's got to be looking at, well, if the opposition keeper can get in there, I can definitely get in there. You know, I rate David very highly, brilliant on the ball. He looks like he's a fourth centre half at times, doesn't he? When he steps outside the box and dictates the play. You don't see too many keepers doing that, but he's got the high level quality that we're going to need throughout the season.
Carly, what about this? England? He could play for England.
Yeah, you said that. He could play for England. Listen, he definitely should be looked at if he can. I think like we said, he's going from strength to strength. I think now he's in the Premier League, I think people will look at him more seriously, if that makes sense. I think sometimes that makes a difference. But he just needs to keep putting the performances in, and I'm sure his time will come. Yeah.
Right, Marcus, if you had us three, right, and you had to start one of us, sell one of us, and sub one of us, what are you going to do?
I'm going to start you.
Correct.
How's he getting a start, by the way?
Yeah, you bide your time. I'll sub me, and then I'll sell Carly.
I must be going up the leagues or something. That's what it is.
We didn't clarify that.
Look, I'll let you two scrap about this. I asked a very willing Mads Bidstrup and Maz Roslev a similar question. Then a little new feature we're calling Sub, Sell, Start. Cheers, mate.
What's that? That's a 20, tight little
Right, lads, this is Sub, Sell or Start. I'm going to say three people or three things, and you've got to tell me whether you'd sub them, sell them, or start them.
Let's go. Mbappe start. I'll say, Mbappe. And then Haaland as a power sub. Yeah. And then I'll sell Pedri.
You know what? I'll start Mbappe, sell Haaland, get a lot of money, and buy a really good team, and then sub Pedri.
Sub Pedri. Yeah. That you thought about that. I like it.
Exactly. Oh.
You can't. That is such,
You can't say anything as a
such
player,
a
though.
stupid question. We can only lose here. You know, we can't do anything. We can't say
Depends
anything.
if you
Right.
want to start next game or be on the bench.
I'll start Kevin.
That's crazy. I think I'll say, because I'm afraid to not to, because of Pontus. I'll start Pontus.
Good shout.
I'm at sub, and I'm sorry, Christian, my mate. I'll have to sell Christian.
But I'll just be
Over
quiet on
30
this
goals
one.
as well.
Like,
Take it easy again.
I'm a past this, sure.
Hermione, that's so weird. I don't think we say that in Danish.
What do you call that?
Hermione.
Hermione.
Mads is actually a big Harry Potter fan.
I am indeed, so I have to think a lot about this
Have you
one.
been to Harry Potter World?
I have not actually. That's almost on top of my bucket list. You know, I'll of course start Harry.
Was that because he's the OG?
Yeah, he's, he's
you know,
basically too
my guy,
overpowered.
my guy, you know. I actually put Hermione as a sub because I think she's a bit underrated, you know. I think she got you know, some powers. And then I'll sell Ron. He's just not good enough to be. He's just not good enough. I'm sorry, but he's just not good enough. I'd start Mats Bistrup, of course. What a player! What a player!
Is it on the pitch or just in general? Like
On the pitch.
On the pitch. Yeah, 100% start Mats Bistrup. Quality.
You said that, mate. This is the next decision.
Come on.
You know what? I'd sell Mats Rorslev just because I could get a lot of money for him for that assist. For that assist at Wembley, I could get a lot of money for him. So I'd sell him, and then I'd sub Mats back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with 3 in the back, and I'll put you in like today's training.
Oh, in the back.
On a 3 central defenders.
Okay. Yeah.
Just so we have one stepping forward.
I like that. I like that thought. Yeah.
But please be aware of your surroundings. Not like today in training.
I made a own goal today. I made a own goal today in training.
Yeah, I think Mads Beck has most appearances, so I can't even think of how much money we could get.
That would be crazy.
Get out of that guy.
He would be. Yeah, he could get a lot of money.
But I don't think anyone in the Prem could pay his wage.
No, his wage is. His demanding is just unreal.
Yeah, so I think he must go to Spain. Or
I've played a lot of Fortnite, to be fair. Fortnite in its prime, I would say, is like top level. It's come down a bit, so I'll put Warzone, Fortnite, and FIFA at the bottom.
FIFA at the bottom?
Yeah.
Do you play as yourselves on FIFA?
Nah, that's a bit too much.
I used to when I was, like 17 or something.
I don't know if it was in FIFA 19 or 20, but they made my man, so he was only 160, I think.
What, height?
160 centimeters.
Should be like 65 or something.
Yeah.
How tall are you, man?
Well, that's quick.
Who's taller than me, are you?
Yeah, I am. Exactly.
I reckon I'm taller than you.
Oh, wait.
Who's taller?
Yeah, I'm taller.
Nah, you're taller.
That means you're about 140, I reckon.
Oh, that's so tough. I think I'll start Xavi, sub Iniesta, and sell Busquets. For me, Xavi is probably one of the, if not the best 6 ever.
Yeah.
So that's why he's one
Someone
of my
that you
favorite
look
players.
up to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think I'll start Iniesta.
Yeah.
And I will sub Busquets and then Xavi.
You're selling.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know, but either way, it's gonna be horrible, So pizza, Chinese, Indian. Oh, good butter chicken.
I need to think
What
about
do you have
that
on your
one.
pizza?
If he says pineapple, I'm actually leaving. If he says
of course
pineapple,
not. But I like the meaty one, so just I know one from Domino's called like Meat Explosion.
that's disgusting. That is.
Of course, I've never got that. I always
Meat
fan of the stuff, yeah,
Explosion.
but I just heard about that one. I heard it should be good.
Fury is my favorite, 100%.
But
I love Fury. He looks a bit fat, But he's still crazy. Like he can still,
Yeah, but did you see that Mexican guy who
Ruiz.
who Joshua lost to?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Was he fat as well?
I think his
You just
fat percent was maybe a bit over.
He looks a bit unfit, you know, but he's crazy in the ring. Like he becomes an animal.
Would you like it if there was like a fat footballer that was really good?
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Because that shows that you don't need to be.
But that's kind of Hazard in his prime. He wasn't
Higuain, you know.
He wasn't good,
Higuain
but you know when you're that good, and it doesn't matter. No one can say anything.
You what you want, you know. So.
Yeah, no one can say anything. You know.
Exactly.
Right, we've got to get Mads Bidstrup down to Harry Potter World and film it. Have a little butter beer, I think that's what they have. Right, another man that Thomas has got to decide whether he's going to start or sub is our new signing, Matthias Jorgensen, also known as Zanka. Where did that come from, by the way? Just a little curveball out of nowhere. But what have you made of the signing, Carly?
I think it's a good signing. I think he's going to come in and want to push for a start. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, for sure. But I think he brings a wealth of experience, real good player, and obviously adds to the defensive unit.
Marcus?
Yeah, I agree. At the right age, as a centre half, will come in. It'll probably be a bit like what Winston Reid was in the Championship for us, but in the Premier League, he's got that experience as well. And if and when we need him, it'll be suitably required to be in that side as well, drive the players on.
But it might be a bit too soon for Zanka to make his debut against Brighton tomorrow. We haven't played the Seagulls for a while, so we got new crew member Talia to give us the lowdown on our visitors.
So what do we know about our visitors from the South Coast? 2 wins from 3 is Brighton's best ever start to the Premier League season. And on the score sheet in both of those wins is a man who needs no introduction. That's not the only reunion on Saturday, as Sam and Goddess played under Graham Potter at Ostersunds. These two teams love a tackle and have made the joint most challenges in the league. Defender Adam Webster tops the table for number of passes in the top flight. Since it was introduced, the Gulls have had the most VAR decisions overturned in their favour, so it's shaping up to be a corker. Just like the last time the sides met at Griffin Park back in 2017, with Brighton snatching a 3-3 draw at the death.
Lads, I know it's only been 3 games, but a pretty good start for Brighton. This season, with it being a home game, Marcus, is it one we should be looking to get 3 points?
Yeah, I think that's the expectation here. We want to win these matches. I think our fans are going to demand that we win these matches. But it's going to be a tight game. Brighton are very similar to us. They play good football, just like us. They've got that added experience of being in the Premier League a few years. Something that we can learn to kind of copy, but in our own style. So I'm expecting a very tight game, but an open game of football.
Carly, as Marcus says, there's a lot of similarities. We don't know if they're going to play just Neil up top on his own or if they'll go with a 2. They play 3 at the back like we do. So tactically, how do you see Saturday going?
I think it's going to be a battle of 2 teams that play very similar. I think Brighton sometimes can have a tendency to overpass. And I think that could play into Brentford's hands because both teams press really well. And I think if Brighton do overpass, it will allow Brentford more opportunities to nick it in good areas. I think it's going to be a very tactical game. But I think as long as Brentford start fast and they set up well, which they have done so far, I think they can catch Brighton out.
When 2 teams press so much, because these 2 sides do love to press, and I think stats-wise I was looking that they've had the most successful overturns from pressures, which basically means they've pressed and won the ball back. So when you get 2 teams that play like that, Marcus, what happens?
Well, there's going to be a mistake somewhere with all that high pressure, and that's all it takes at this level. Just half a yard out of place could lead to an opening, which could lead to a goal. So you have to be composed in what you're doing on and off the ball. But again, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen tomorrow, and I feel that we've got a really good chance of getting the points as well.
It's been long enough. Let's mention Neil. We've got to talk about Neil Maupay. The return of... I love him so much and I can't wait to see him. But then I go, actually, he's horrible to play against, isn't he? Because we know what he was like for us. And he's a really good footballer, Carly. He's an absolute nightmare to mark, I imagine. Yeah,
he is. He's kind of non-stop. He's always hassling. But not only that, he's up for a battle. He enjoys that, and he's got great quality. You know, he done really well here, and he's done well in the Prem so far as well with Brighton. So he's going to be a player that we need to keep a real close eye on. But it'll be an interesting battle to see him and Pontus. That's for sure.
Well, that's it, Marcus. We've been on the other side of that battle in Neil's camp. Now we're on Pontus's side, obviously, and on the flip side, it's always had a bit of spice, that, hasn't it?
That's going to be the battle of the match, I think. They've had some history in the past as well, which adds to it. But hopefully Pontus and the rest of the team out there will keep him under check, keep him in the right sort of zones where he can't really hurt us. But we know he's a competitor. It'd be great to see him, but I don't want to see him score.
Have we got to make it not the Neil Maupay show too much? I mean, we're just playing Brighton, right?
Yeah, exactly that. We're just playing Brighton, and we need to focus on ourselves. I think making sure that we're mentally ready and we don't get involved in those little battles, because Maupay he'll want to wind Pontus up. He'll want to do that. So it's not getting involved in those little battles and staying focused and composed. And from there, I think we'll be okay.
I can't wait. But what do the Brighton fans think? I was lucky enough to catch up with a man who's won just about every award in music. It's Royal Blood drummer Ben Thatcher. He's a season ticket holder at Brighton, and here's what he thinks ahead of Saturday's game. Ben, first of all, thanks for joining me, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
We're all good, thanks, mate. Look, The international break is finally over. Back to the Premier League season. And for you guys, it's been your best start to a Premier League season, 2 wins out of 3. So you must be pretty excited headed into the rest of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. It couldn't have been a better start, really. Well, it could have if we beat Everton, but yeah, to get 6 points from those 2 games was vital, I think.
I think last season I saw you obviously finished 16th, but you were 5th in expected goal. I know you're a club that do a lot of work with stats like ourselves. Do you think that's maybe a bit of an indicator then this year that maybe this season you won't be involved in a relegation battle like you have done in the years gone by?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last season was one of those seasons where we played so well and Potter set up the team so well, but we got really unlucky, I feel. And there were some decisions that we've never seen in football before. I don't know if you remember that Lewis Dunk goal, the free kick. Just absolutely. And then there was the penalty, which was a penalty, but after the final whistle. It's the first time that's ever happened, and points lost there. But I feel that we've hung on to the players for this season. Obviously Ben White leaving, but I feel like the squad is strong, and we're aiming to not be in a relegation battle this season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your 5th season in the Premier League. Like, to me, Brighton are an established Premier League side. Like, do you feel like an established Premier League side now?
Because we've been at the bottom in the relegation zone for the past. We've been fighting, but I think the football that we're playing is definitely good enough for the Premier League for sure.
Because growing up, Brentford and Brighton were often playing each other in League 1 and 2 kind of.
Right, yeah.
And I guess you guys are kind of a club that this season we're looking at and going, we want to do what you've done and recreate what you've done, and like Burnley have done, that longevity. So what is it, do you think, that Brighton have done well in the last few years to survive where other clubs have gone straight back down or yo-yoed, really?
The way the club's put together, and it's been on a rise for the last 10 years, and we've still got that momentum in us, I think, and the room to grow. Yeah. To be it'd be great to be in the mid-table, get in the top 10 hopefully. That's what we're aiming for.
Not having to look over your shoulder the whole season just in case.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think for us at the moment, it's so exciting because obviously it's our first year in the Premier League. Can you remember that excitement, or have you still got that excitement? Yeah,
it's still like a pinch yourself moment when you see the clubs that you're playing, and as a season ticket holder, it's amazing. The stadium's just down the road, and you get these world-class players, playing in front of you, and so that's pretty crazy. But yeah, I remember that feeling of going up and the parties and yeah, just the atmosphere around the city, it's wicked.
Yeah, but we've got to talk about one man in particular, Neal Maupay. We absolutely adored Neal Maupay. A lot of fans still do. I'm sure he's going to get an amazing reaction. I don't know how he's going to react if he scores, maybe. That's one thing we're all wondering. Do you guys love him as much as we loved him?
We needed him. We needed a striker, and he's very good for the club. A bit hot-headed at times. He kind of took that when we lost Knockaert, when he went to Fulham. He was a fiery character, and Neal kind of replaced that. And yeah, at times it can be quite frustrating, but I think when he gets his head down and he starts bashing them in, you know, he's brilliant. Yeah.
I remember when we had him, he went up against Pontus Jansson a few times, who now plays for us. And they're obviously both quite aggressive players. They both love a battle. So I'm very interested to see how that goes on Saturday. Who else have we got to look out for? Obviously, there's Bissouma,
who he's had, like, last season was fantastic, and he's a rising star. He's just unbelievable, and we're lucky that we've kept him in that transfer window.
Do you think he would?
I think the quality of player he is, he could easily go to a top 6 club.
Really?
But yeah, I think he's really enjoying playing football at Brighton at the moment, and he's a fan favourite, and he's just grown to sit in that midfield really well for us.
Is he kind of one of those all-action? Because we've got an all-action centre midfielder called Frank the Tank, Frank Onyeka. He's only joined in the summer, and he covers every blade of grass, and he's physical. He loves getting stuck in. So could that be another little matchup, do you think, in that centre midfield?
Absolutely. I think Bissouma is one of those players who, off the ball, he's fantastic as well. He's always in the right place at the right time, creating chances and tackling as well, getting that ball back. And yeah, that will be a good matchup, I think.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about the game, mate, on Saturday?
Good. It's one that I'd hope we would win. It's one of those, but obviously it's one that you guys hope that you're going to win as well. Being at home, being against Brighton, and but it could go either way. It really depends. If we turn it up, then it's going to be difficult, I think, for you guys. But who knows?
Because you guys like to pass it a lot, don't you? I noticed Webster's made the most passes out of any Premier League player this year.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's nuts. Yeah, we like to play out from the back quite a lot, and yeah, we like to keep the ball.
You know, I'm going to push you now, mate, for a score prediction.
Oh, okay, it's going to be 2-1 Brighton.
And don't tell me who's going to score the goals. You're going to say...
You know it.
If he scores, is he going to celebrate?
No, he won't.
Yes, I'll take that.
He won't. I don't think he will.
Amazing. Ben, thanks so much for your time, mate. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. It's been great.
You were expecting to see your old teammate Ben Thatcher there, weren't you? A little curveball.
I thought it was. I was just about to say it can't be. It can't be.
Lads, if, and Ben mentioned it there, is hopefully a big if. Say Neal does score tomorrow, is he going to celebrate? Marcus?
No.
I think he might.
I hope he doesn't see it and he doesn't get a chance to. How important, again, are us fans in the stands going to be tomorrow, Marcus?
Immensely important. I think they give us that extra bit, that extra 10% that the players need, and they set the standard so high now. You know, against Arsenal, we raised that roof. We need to do that for the remainder of the season at home.
That's it, isn't it? Like, no disrespect to Brighton here, but Arsenal was the first game in the Premier League season. It was Arsenal. You've got to do that week in, week out now, haven't we?
Yeah, it has to be.
All of us three, I'm saying. We've got to be...
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be that week in, week out. and that's something that's going to drive the team forward. So it's massively important.
Can't wait. That's it for this week. Just before we do go, a little reminder about something you may have seen on the club's channels over the week regarding tomorrow's game. It will see us take part in a survey of up to 10% of fans with a COVID-19 status check. The club are following Premier League guidelines which will help keep grounds open to fans. No one will be turned away for tomorrow's game, but please have your COVID certification ready. For more info on what counts as this, check the website. This could of course cause delays, everyone getting in, so please do arrive early for the match. Before we go, by the way, you may have seen this piece of art from RJ Customs. How good is that? He's painted Ivan Toney from the playoff final on this year's shirt. Love that, RJ. Keep an eye out for that on our social channels as well. Remember, if you can't get to the game tomorrow, Mark Burridge will be providing commentary on iFollow. Gonna be a good one, isn't it, lads?
It's going to be a very good one.
Yeah?
Certainly will.
I never do score predictions, but do you want to give us one?
2-1 bees.
I'm gonna go 3-1.
3-1
Brentford,
goals,
yeah.
goals, goals. Come on, you bees. It's felt like a long time since we've been back here. I can't wait, and hopefully we'll be here in celebration come 5 o'clock. You Reds!